Hey, how's it going, man? Tomorrow here. Let's wait till the other panelists get in. We're gonna have on going 11 on and Mike B. So wait a couple minutes till they come in here. That way we can have this discussion on the way. Make sure you like the video. I'm gonna come here. I'll come in. We're gonna go over five or more articles here, so that way we could be able to see the trajectory of this thing and where it's going. Because a lot of entertainers in the black section of YouTube have really pretty much dropped off completely from talking about this politics and presidential race in total since the election got to be over. But there's a hell of a lot more that's gone on since that time that we actually need to still cover. Because when you're covering something as important as politics, it's never over in one fell swoop. You don't really get your way after you vote one time. It's kind of an ongoing thing. It's going to be kind of going on forever, and that's something that people just don't get for some reason. But at the end of the day, I think this is a better direction to go in, a far more worthwhile conversation to have, because there's really nobody out there on the national scene who's actually black doing this, especially in YouTube. Because YouTube is about likes, likes and super chats and nonsense like that. However, there's still a worthwhile conversation to be had when dealing with politics. Because the only thing you have to do is get up to speed with what's actually going on, and then you just keep the veracity of just staying informed. But when you have a lot of people who's not really all that informed from the first beginning, and they only want to talk about politics as a means of trying to troll one side or the other, you really can't get anywhere doing that, because there is something that is at stake for you, no matter what. Hey, how's it going, Mike? What's going on, man?
Yo, what's going on, MOT?
Nothing much, man. I mean, this is a very worthwhile discussion that we need to have, because a lot of people who were talking about politics before, they kind of dropped it once this guy didn't win. That was it for them. But now they got to take responsibility for if this guy doesn't leave office, and that's a worthwhile conversation that we need to have, and so that way we can show the articles of why this stuff is shaping up to be a very strong showdown between the third party that's known right now as the party of Trump. So,
Yeah, definitely, man. I think that this was bound to happen. A lot of dissatisfaction with the results, despite all of the taking of it to the higher courts. The results were the same. So
yeah, this that people don't understand. This is why you have professional politicians. So that way there's a certain level of decorum, there's a certain level of standard, there's a certain level of tradition, there's a certain level of respect for the process. But within the black context, we enjoy it more when someone crosses over into a lane that they're not even supposed to be in, given that they come from the entertainment world of music. And I just don't think that's the case. Because you don't see doctors crossing over into rap music or entertainment. But they definitely will show a guy a hell of a lot more respect if they turn around to do that on the other end. And it's hard to get something out of a system if you, one, don't know how it works, two, don't care about learning how it works, and three, don't really care about who runs it. It's kind of hard to get something out of that type of system.
Yeah, I mean, Higher Learning was just a movie. I mean, you should have played that in real life. But
Yeah,
yeah, the process is a very key point because most people think they can strong arm their way through the system, and that's not how it works. There's not one person who has been able to strong arm their way through the system without following the process.
Yeah, the process is there for a reason. The process is there so you don't strong arm your way through it. The process is there to justify, to verify the system that you have. Your votes, everything that you have that's set up. This whole republic is set up to be basically to be verified. You just can't come running through here and say, "Hey, I'm running shit." Elections mean something. You just can't have elections and then come running through them and tear stuff out the frame and coup the joint and everything else like that. Like I've seen in Brazil 3 times since I've been going down there, literally since the '80s till now. Dilma, out, through Lula in jail, got this Bolsonaro fool up in there. You know what I'm saying? You just can't have this kind of stuff going on. Hunters, military hunters, and all this crap going down now. We have a large responsibility. We're big economic power, big military power. You just can't have this thing being cooed up and run around, just run off like crazy. You can't have that. But some people feel like they can do that. Now, I was on the phone yesterday. We were MOT, and he was talking to my brother and I. We were kind of sitting here talking about this, and this is a real test of the system. This is a test of the system. We haven't had a real serious test like this since Hayes, Rutherford B. Hayes in the 18th, and coming towards the latter part of the 19th century, and that also kind of ushered in Reconstruction, the end of Reconstruction and so forth, and all the issues that came with after that. So I don't want to get into that right now, but in the 20th century, we haven't really seen this, and here we are, here we are. So there's a deep process to what we have, and it was even further solidified by Truman after he came out of office, or he came into office, in fact. Where he didn't know a damn thing. When Roosevelt died, he didn't know what was going on. He was so far out of the loop, it was crazy. So as far as any information being tracked over to him, he had to be brought up to speed there. Didn't even know about the bomb. Okay. So when he decided after that, well, we're going to have even a better process and further refined it. This is what we've been running off literally ever since. And here this guy is in here trying to jack up the process and do something quite a bit different, which I guess this was in some respects was going to happen at some point in time. Here it is. This is a test of our system, and let's see how it holds up. I'll leave it at that for right now. Anyway, go ahead, MOT.
Yeah, I mean, right now, we know the media has failed so far in trying to inform people on the actual process. They did when it came to counting of the votes, but now people are just trying to act like things are normal. This ain't normal. It's not normal to hold up a transition of one president so he has no pathway to win. He didn't pay the amount for Wisconsin to do their recount. So now he's trying to strong arm it through their court system. And it's just like he really thought he was just going to Bush v. Gore, big joker, everything. And that's just not the way the system works. I mean, that was a special and that was a one-off. That wasn't supposed to be a policy of how things went. And you have to realize that this guy had to be talked out of bombing Iran once the election was over. What would be the purpose of bombing Iran right now when Iran's really not doing anything?
Bombing Iran.
Yeah.
Bombing Iran would start World War III immediately.
That's exactly right.
And if you start World War III in the middle of a war, the elections are suspended. He can maintain office.
Yep.
Well, and I just don't want to go too far on a limb. Trump doesn't even know where Iran is on the map. So it's
No.
not him pushing for a fight with Iran. It's really somebody else behind the scenes that we won't mention at this point, pushing him to go get into a fight with Iran because they have, very much interest in the Middle East. And so seeing destabilization in the Middle East. And so Trump is being pulled by a string behind the scenes to do things that he's incapable of sustaining long term. He has no idea even where certain countries are that he dislikes, and he automatically just says, "Well, I don't like these guys. It's a shithole country or something like that." So the objective of him trying to occupy the office as long as possible by starting the war, that's not just his idea. He may have an epiphany and say, well, yeah, I think we should bomb Iran and take their oil or something like that. Yeah, that's cool and all, but what are the consequences of that? You'll send the United States into a complete free fall from an economic standpoint, because now you're talking about blocking the Strait of Hormuz. You block the Strait of Hormuz, and then everybody's involved in that. That's a disaster. You'll crash the market over in a matter of hours.
Not only will you do that, you will also create huge problems like they're having in Europe with your allies. Your allies are going to have huge issues with this. Your NATO alliance is going to have a massive issue with that going on. You've already got some warfare going on right now, basically in Europe with Armenia. You've got some of this going on at this stage. There's some key flashpoints that are going on right now that you can't afford to have total idiocy like this happening. Now, there are generals that are around this man who are deeply suspicious of his activities. And some of the people, and I know exactly what Mike is saying. There are people that are behind him that want to push this, that are really trying to push an exceedingly dangerous line. That's why I'm saying this shit may go Hollywood if this guy really tries to hang in here, because there's some deep issues that are at line that could potentially create huge problems for us, not only just politically, but massively economically. That can have huge effects on us and our friends internationally. Not the kind of deal we want to be playing with at this stage. All right. Now, I have two friends. I was telling MOT this yesterday. I have two friends. I went to college with them. One of them is my roommate. One works for the Department of Homeland Security. The other one works for a 4-star general, in the Army currently right now. And these individuals have the highest security clearance that you can think about. And these are my friends, my fraternity brothers, and so forth. All right, we're at the very top of what exists inside of our government here in the United States right now, my friends. And they're sitting there telling me straight out, look, this guy's going to go. He's leaving. Don't worry about it. Don't get upset. He's leaving. Don't worry. He's leaving. No. We haven't had that, but he's leaving. And they're saying this with great confidence. So let's just put it like this. He's in the White House. He's in a bunker and all that. I suspect that he doesn't want to go. He's got dangerous people around him, Bannon and these other guys in his ear talking crazy. All right. Some of these other fools talking madness. Bannon's getting ready to go to jail, so he's trying to keep himself out of there. But these guys think they're getting ready to pull what they're getting ready to pull. I don't believe they're going to be able to pull this off. But he definitely has plans on not staying, of not leaving. And it's just not him who was thinking this. What bothers me a bit is looking at the other Republicans who are standing aside and letting this go down. And what's their interest in this? That's what I'm saying. They've got to know what's getting ready to come down. If this guy is getting ready to play this game, they got to know what's going to happen.
Their seats are secure.
Huh?
Their seats are secure, so they don't have to worry about what happens to him. They can care less. They got their votes, and they won their election for themselves in the Senate, so they can care less. But for Trump, he's dragging this out as long as possible, hoping that a sea change happens. But the reality is, a war with Iran would send the currency into free fall.
Yeah, it'd be a disaster
because the American dollar is what's used to trade for oil. And
right.
If the oil stops, the dollar stops. The dollar stops, you'll have massive chaos in the capitalist system. A lot of people are pushing for a fight that they don't really understand the consequences of a fight like this.
That's exactly right. Internationally, and once again, I keep saying your allies, England, Germany, France. Okay, we're talking about Sweden, all those other places. All of our allies in Europe, in Central Europe, they get a lot of oil. They're on the oil game with Iran, and not only we're talking about that with China, and also with some Russian interest. There are a lot of problems here. A lot of huge issues that could be a problem. Massive issues, and the money is exactly correct because people buy oil in not their currency, but they buy it in American dollars. So they have to have dollars. That's the fiat currency that's traded in. So economically, this is a huge problem to have a conflict like this. That's why I'm saying, what are these guys? If these senators are quiet, maybe they're sitting here placating this guy. It's about time to start talking sense to this man. Say, it's time to sit down. Okay, we've got the count done. It's over. I looked at Pennsylvania today. Pennsylvania rejected this man's case with extreme prejudice. See, the difference is here. These guys can walk around here and talk these internet, crazy stories and all this other bullshit. Guys can walk around and talk craziness all day long, and you can sit here and believe it. But when you come up underneath the crucible of truth that you have to come through when you hit that courtroom, where now you are being held under oath. So the attorneys are being held under oath. So therefore, if you come in there and you lie, okay, you will lose your license, you will be fined, and you can be jailed. So now you can't come in there, well, this is fraud. Fraud? Do you have proof of this? And if you're trying to lie to us, what's getting ready to happen, right? Well, we're not talking fraud. We're saying maybe there was some irregularities and people weren't people weren't standing close enough to see the count. So this and and all those other stories. I was with someone just yesterday, and we talked for a while, and they were trying to tell me, "Did you see the story on this company that does the voting machines that's controlled by Soros, and they had the army came in and grabbed the servers?" And I said, "Oh, really? These are facts? Show them to me. Show me some of it." When they hit him with that in Pennsylvania, Mike, how did they go? Hamana, 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 hamana. They had nothing to say.
Yeah, I mean, like what
they had no proof.
Now?
Huh?
What's happening now has to be looked at as fire in a crowded theater type nonsense.
Yeah.
I mean, like this is where we're at because.
MOT, I just want to say it very quickly. I just want to say this real quick. When you're in the courtroom, you have to prove this. This must be proven. They couldn't prove bupkis, like the Jewish, some of my Jewish compadres. Bupkis bubala, nothing, zero. They came up with nothing. So you can't come in here and lie. You can do that in YouTube and walk around and sound crazy. That's great. You can go out there and talk shit all out in public. Now, when you come up underneath the crucible of truth, where you are now responsible for everything you say, they couldn't come up with shit and backed away from anything that they said was fraud. They backed away from the fraud charges.
Yeah, but
anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, but they came front loading the ignorance and letting people know that we're on your side. Stop the steal, all this kind of stuff. So when they start filing all these lawsuits, they're feeding these dudes red meat out there. So that way they can go out and do something crazy, not them. I mean, it's just that something like this, there has to be a high standard to which you challenge anything. Now, the recount, he didn't respect that either.
Yeah, no, he didn't.
Yeah, it's like, what are we doing here?
That's what I'm saying. He's trying. This guy, I believe, is going to try to stay in here past the 20th. I think these guys have a plan on trying. They have some kind of delusions in their mind where they're thinking that they can potentially pull a coup off. And now they're foregoing any kind of court moves. Now they're going up into Michigan and saying, "Let me grab the legislators and so forth. Let me see if we can throw this into legislation, and see and have them overturn it this way, because we're not seeing our way in the courts. Let's see if we can do it." And people are walking around saying, "Now this guy sound like sour grapes. He's trying to go to a place right now where where now he can run past the courtroom. And now, from what I'm hearing now, it's like the governor can now get rid of these other two canvassers or whatever, and put two more Republicans on who will ultimately will verify. Who will certify this. So at the end of the day, this guy doesn't have anywhere to go. He's not given this thing up yet. He hasn't turned anything over to Biden, and he's sitting there still in office, refusing to leave. And when the G20 went down today, he cut that off and then sat back and started playing golf. And then I sat back and said, oh, okay. So is this guy really planning to leave? Now, if he's not planning to leave, like I suspect this is what he's getting ready to do, I think I don't want to say this we're on YouTube, so I don't want to say anything here, at this level, but I think things may go very poorly for him.
Yeah.
Go ahead, guys. Go ahead.
Mike, you want to go through the articles?
Oh, let me grab the articles. I thought you had them up already.
Oh, no, I'm driving. So
okay, all right.
Yeah, it's like when you lose the election, you fire the Secretary of Defense, you fire the head of the Department of Homeland Security.
CISA
found out. Go ahead.
No, I said CISA as well. The cybersecurity, he fired them as well.
Yeah. Cybersecurity guy. Pretty much, these are major posts within the government. Major. This isn't like he fired like the Office of Personnel Management head or anything like that. He's fired people who can really oversee things that could really happen within the United States. I have no doubt that the deputy of these actual positions can do a better job, but it's just that he's sending a clear message.
Mm-hmm.
If you still want to be a career guy, you got to play ball. And that's just something that we just don't need right now. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, I don't recall when Bush Sr., only had one term, when he was transitioning off to Clinton. I don't remember this happening. I was pretty young, but I don't recall this as a part of it.
It didn't happen. In fact, he did a beautiful pass off. He did a beautiful pass, passed it off. Passed the Dutchie on the left-hand side. He passed the Dutchie man. Passing the Dutchie. He passed the Dutchie, baby. That's how that went down.
Yeah, and it's like when Trump won, there was no holdback of information or anything by Obama.
Obama is right. That's right.
Yeah, he gave
Obama
him stuff that wasn't needed to be.
Obama said he didn't like it, but he said he had to do it. That came out of his mouth. You guys heard his interview that he had. He said, I didn't like it. I ain't feeling this sucker laid, but this is what I had to do. So this was my job. And that whole pass off game.
I need to clear up something else. All the troops in Iraq and Afghanistan ain't coming home by the end of the get out of here. Like, no, man, it's fake. There ain't no way you can just drop that much equipment over there and everybody just get up and just walk away. That's not how that works. But it's just that a lot of the stuff is going on, and this is what happens when you don't have a plan. He planned to win. He didn't plan on losing. There was no strategy if he lost.
This is the same error that Hillary Clinton had in 2016. That's exactly this is a cakewalk. Exactly. We'll walk away with this, and hit the like button, please. 39 likes in here, 80 people watching. They thought that this was a cakewalk, and now you have the same people in 2016 who said this was a fair election. Trump won by electoral vote. Hillary Clinton had 3 to 5 million more votes than Trump did on the popular side. And now you have the opposite happening in 2020. Trump had 73 million votes. He just did not clear the electoral votes in the swing states.
No, Biden's got 80 million votes though.
Yeah.
80. Damn. So a lot of people came out, and this guy's trying to disenfranchise hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people. Does this?
Yo, what's going on, Art? Yeah, shout out to Art.
All right, what's up, baby? So these guys can't. They don't want to admit this. I mean, so this was actually a thumping. My man got his ass beat down, but people spoke. They spoke hard. They said, "You got to go." Vambora. As you say, they say in Portuguese, Brazilian, the Vambora. So it's the Vambora up in here, man. He had to go, man. Bora, bora, Trumpy, bora. He got to go, man. It's time for him to go, baby. So
Yeah, but the people who were supporting him, they're gone. They still have a responsibility to talk about the things that happened since the election's over. Because they thought there was going to be a landslide and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. I have the article up when you're ready.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead, Mike.
Okay.
Yeah, first article is from New York Times, where Georgia's hand recount differed from the initial tally by county. I'll read the first couple of paragraphs. On Thursday, Georgia's 159 counties finalized a hand recount, technically an audit, of the 5 million ballots cast in the election, reaffirming Joseph Biden Jr.'s victory, but reducing his lead by more than 1,200 votes. Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger, a Republican, had ordered the manual audit as part of a new state law to ensure the accuracy of voting machines by comparing paper ballots counts with machine tallies. This was not an official recount, though the Trump campaign can choose to request one after the state's results are certified this week. As the vote margin between Mr. Biden and President Trump is below 0.5 percentage points. In many counties, officials conducting the audit found 0 or single-digit differences in their counts, and they will not change their original results for the state certification process. Yet, at least 4 counties, Douglas, Fayette, Floyd, and Walton, discovered missed ballots and will add these to their original count. So here's the map right here. Counties with a net gain for Biden, counties with a net gain for Trump. Margin of error.
Yeah.
Margin of error, but we do know that Greg Palast said that 1 million Black voters were purged from the polls. Who knew? Why? If there was any sort of discrepancies in voting or fraud, suppression, it was coming from the right.
That's where it was coming from.
It was coming from the right. But the people in this space, the men in this space, for that matter, who are backing this up and saying, hey, there's something fishy here. Yeah, it's coming from you guys on the right. It's coming from you guys. And so they don't want to pull up this map and really talk about this, right? See, the judges were okay. It was okay when he won in 2016, but in 2020, when he loses, then there must be something fishy going on.
Yeah, there was something fishy going on. You guys were suppressing the vote, Trumpy. They were trying to suppress it. Now here you have the Secretary of State who's in charge of the count, all right, in Georgia. Now
he was a supporter.
And he's a supporter, and he's under scrutiny. He's being scrutinized about this. So he's got to come up clean. He too is on the line here. So that's why they increased the amount of numbers of votes that Biden got. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Yep.
So Trump too. Trump by I think 1,200 or something. Biden by 3,000.
So look at that, people. More votes came in that was suppressed for the man, and he won. So that's why the Secretary of State looking at this saying, my ass is on heat, and there is another election coming up here on the 5th of January. We've got to stand clean or we finish. That's what's going on. drop the map. But see, but when you go to these other channels and you talk about this kind of thing, they don't have any maps up like this. They're not looking at what the real count is. They don't really know what's going on. But they're saying, we got this. We gonna turn this over.
No, they got a map of like Google Maps or something like that, man.
Yeah.
You know, it's
And they
Google.
got like, no Uber Eats.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yo,
Yeah. And so they're always talking about this fraud this, fraud that. How come you guys don't talk about the 1 million Black voters who were purged from the polls?
And,
Yeah,
and
talk about that. And that in Georgia, of all places. In Georgia.
that's why Greg Palast ultimately said, no, Georgia is a blue state. The only reason why it's red is because of its suppression. Stacey Abrams and those that are in there know this. That's why they're striking at the heart of the game. That's why you got Lindsey Graham coming over there talking about, can you reduce and knock out some of these freaking ballots?
yeah. Real
Can
voter fraud. It should be against some type of law, especially federally, for him to do that.
No, he should be in jail for that.
He should be in jail.
You should be in
And
jail.
he's coming from another state. Another state.
In Mississippi, 2 Black people were accused of fraud, voter fraud, and they sentenced those people.
They did.
Yes, they did.
So the idea that civilians can be sentenced, but no politician can be sentenced, this is an injustice in itself. But you won't hear that on those other channels with people talking about fraud.
No.
No, you won't.
I mean, it's just that there was a lot of hysteria because their side didn't win. But elections are not about polls. Elections are about turnout.
Yeah,
that's what elections are about, turnout. And it's the economy, stupid. Mm-hmm. Yes, that's what it's about, both of those things.
And elections are also about processes. Yep. And that's what we're going through. That's what this guy can't deal with. That's why I'm saying all this is coming down. He hasn't conceded. What do you do when President Trump doesn't want to leave? Now, there's nothing in the actual Constitution that actually says that after this guy leaves, he's got to leave. Mm-hmm. It actually doesn't say that. So that's why I think it's his last option. I'm not going to leave. I still say this thing is under a it's still under protest, and I'm not leaving, and I'm not leaving the White House. See, we haven't faced this yet. This was bound to happen. Here we are right now. There's no doubt. All of this is academic, because none of this is going to go his way. So now he's not going to leave. What do we do? Here is an autocratic, mindset in here now. An autocrat is now in here. An autocrat is in here. And he's saying he ain't leaving. He wants to be president for life. And I've still got my fingers on the codes. I'm here now. I'm going to try to get as many military people around me as possible to back me up in this. And I still have people who are, what makes this thing dangerous is he's got people in the party, the RNC and others, who may go along with this. What do you do?
Hey, well, Ben Cisco made a comment in the chat. Think he gonna get Omarosa out of there, man? Dragged out.
Omarosa already gone. They took a black ass out of there, kicking and screaming.
No. I'm talking about him.
But here we are. So there's going to be a constitutional piece here, and this guy doesn't leave, and he starts to allay some of his ideas to some military people, of which I believe he is doing. We're looking at something that our country hasn't faced but needs to. Maybe we need to face this now. And maybe some real changes have to be made, because this was just a matter of time before this happened. And here we are.
We need to see it. We need to see the Capitol Police,
here we are,
and the FBI and the CIA, the government, up against the military. The military loyalists who's going to get kick smooth out and go straight to prison once the whole thing is over. You need to see that's exactly what happens when you elect people to specific things that they don't respect.
Yeah.
He came in. How is he supposed to respect the process? Look how he got in. He spent no time at the local, didn't even try to learn anything about the issues, and still ain't trying to learn.
No, no. But he says, I love this shit and I ain't leaving. I ain't leaving. I
I
refuse
mean,
to leave.
so are they about to like build like another White House across town somewhere?
I mean,
Just let him stay in that one.
I mean, with the sort of resources he has, he probably can go out and build a cheap White House, out of like, lumber
Yeah.
from Home Depot or something like that. But
Yeah.
the thing is, if he doesn't leave, what are the consequences? What are the consequences of him not leaving? I mean, they have to change the mattresses and the sheets and stuff like that. I mean, they have to de-COVID the whole entire thing. I mean, how long does this guy think he can kick around and wait for? Playing putt and whatnot on the golf course. It doesn't work that way. If he can't respect the process now, what's to say that if he runs in 2024 that he would respect it then? It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me that if he doesn't leave, okay, well, he plans on running in 2024. He has the opportunity to. Okay, but who's going to back this guy going into 2024? Who wants to put their head on the chopping block right now? I mean, or then, for this guy who fired all these people in his cabinet, over 20 something people in 4 years, over 5 people from the Pentagon in 4 years. Who wants to be in this guy's cabinet in 2024? Not a lot of people, man. A lot of people didn't want to be in there in the first place. Nikki Haley said, "Get me out of here. I'm out of here. Cut the check. I'm out of here."
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
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 Well, she got those board positions on those corporations, man. She's out of there. Out of there.
Well,
Yeah.
she needed it. She was $1 million in debt, $1.5 million in debt. All those kids going to those nice schools.
Yeah.
She was in debt. And so the point that I'm making here is that a lot of people are saying, yeah, if Trump may not leave, or he, the ballots, I mean, the votes were fraudulent, and the reality is we're seeing now that it was really those guys, those people on the right,
Suppression of vote.
suppressing not just in Georgia, but in Florida, in Michigan, and Wisconsin, and in Pennsylvania. Now we're starting to find out that Pennsylvania had, it was rigged over there for Trump, and he still lost, even when it was rigged.
Even it was rigged in a Democratic state, and they've increased the votes. They saw the same thing in Michigan. This man went over by over 150,000 and counting. This is what they had, and they're trying to nullify that.
Yeah.
That's what you guys are trying to do. He called him into the White House. These guys like, we're gonna stick with the law, man. I don't know, Prez. I don't know what to tell you, fam. So this is
can't.
this is the game these guys are playing. Go ahead, Mike. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, yeah, I'm seeing in the chat. You can't use people who don't understand the process as support for a Trump administration and say, well, those guys, they support Trump, so it sounds like a lot of support to me. But the reality is, where is electoral support going to come from? If you want to keep the electoral college system going, it has to be there in his favor. It's not really in his favor anymore. These key battleground states are not working for him. The votes show that it's not working for him. Okay, he took Ohio. Okay, so what?
Yeah, and the trend is not in his favor either.
The trend is not in his favor, and Ohio has been nullified by Nevada, Arizona, Georgia.
No, Georgia.
I mean, this is what's up. And once again, in Georgia, this is what makes this thing look so bad. I'm a Trump supporter, and I am sorry, but I have to say that the count is the count. The math is the math. I've got to go with this. I got to certify.
That's what the Secretary of State said.
That's what he said.
That's his quotes from his mouth.
That's what he said. So what these guys are saying is, if this happens here, then that means in any election can go forward. A Democrat can do this to a Republican. This can go out. The buck's got to stop somewhere. If these elections are going to be legitimate in our country, we're going to keep democracy here. This is where we have to go. And what I'm finding, there are many Republicans who sit down here, like Mike is looking at, and he's uncovering, with this map stuff already known. We already know this, but here, this is for those who may not know the voter suppression piece and all of that. My question to you guys here in the panel, and I'm going to answer this openly: do the Republicans, on the whole, do they respect democracy? Do they respect it? Do they respect the electoral process and the will of the people? Do they respect democracy, or are these guys fascists? I don't know. I'm going to leave that question to you guys.
Comes with a caveat. Caveat is only when it supports them. That's the caveat. Apparently, that's where we're at right now.
Yeah.
And it's just that people have to get that this is why you have standards, so that way things can work. To me, I don't care who wins. At the end of the day, this stuff needs to work right. And voting doesn't need to be that hard or that difficult.
Yeah. Hey, what's up, panel?
Hey, what's going on, dude?
What's up?
What's going on, bro?
Let me challenge this point in the chat. Benjamin Sisko says, cannot buy that, Mike. COVID-19 is what defeated Trump. No, Trump defeated himself. Okay. There's a process of how to handle COVID.
Yep. And
he failed in all areas. He didn't start wearing a mask until after George Floyd was killed. I mean, you factor in, they shut down. I mean, they knew about this in November. Okay, November 2019.
They did.
You had December, January, February, March. March was the lockdown. April, May, June. This guy didn't start wearing the mask until July and didn't do anything. He says, no, we should open up the economy. He told the Wolverine Watchman in Michigan, you should go to your governor and shut it down and overthrow the governor there and have a coup d'etat and tell them to open up the economy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what he was backing. He never had a strategy on really how to handle COVID. He overstepped his boundaries when it came to Dr. Fauci and his team.
Hey, Mike, what about the Bob Woodward interview? Would you want to kind of, expound upon that just for a hot second?
Well, I mean, in reference to the comment, I'm saying you can't say that, COVID-19 defeated Trump. No, Trump defeated himself. There's a process of how to deal with COVID. You don't see any other leader of any other nation within the G20. I mean, look at how India handled COVID. Look at how South Korea handled it. Look how
a hell of a lot less sanitary than we are, and they have better results.
Hold it. Look at Taiwan. That basically has had the best response currently right now amongst the human flock. 24 million people. Seven deaths. Seven.
Yeah, I was gonna.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm gonna quickly add MOT to your, or I guess maybe Nagone said, do Republicans care about democracy?
That's
what
correct.
It is right now is, if you look at what happened to Jeff Sessions in Alabama, that's what every Republican who's not saying anything against Trump, that's what they're scared of. Sessions basically recused himself from the whole Russia thing. Trump fired him. He was like, okay, I'm gonna go back to Alabama, get my seat back. Ends up running against the football coach. Trump comes out and endorses the football coach, and this guy who's been a senator for like 20, 30 years or something loses in the primary. That's what they're scared of.
Well, no, they definitely are afraid of that. But at the end of the day, I don't care if you're afraid of that or not. Do you believe in democracy? That's the question still stands. I don't give a fuck if you're scared.
They're mad.
Nigga. Do you believe in democracy?
Nah, I mean, based on actions, no. It's my job comes first.
Here's the problem. Here's the problem. We're not getting mad because of votes not being counted. They're mad because votes are being counted. What's that about?
That's the key. That's the key. And they said, well, let's count the votes. Let's count the votes. Well, I don't believe that we count the votes are counted. I don't like the way that you counted the votes. What the fuck, man?
You got Biden winning the popular vote now by over 6 million.
6 million. I mean, he thumped him down. This was a thump down. He thumped him down. He thumped him down, and then won it. And then won in the electoral college. Tore him out the frame. And motherfuckers sit back here tight.
Like, here's the thing, man. There's going to be other elections. This ain't the only one.
Well,
Come on,
if
man.
you're a Republican, you're counting your days. You know, like, pretty much depending on how the party goes, if Trump doubles down on this strategy, it's gonna spell doom for you for national politics because
Yeah.
demographically, it's just not gonna work out. That's what I think people are looking at as well too, as well as they're worried about the Senate race in Georgia, because if Democrats get control of the Senate's going to be, they're probably looking at least not regaining, even having a chance to regain it probably until 2024, because 2022 is not good for Republicans on this defending Senate seats.
No, this is going to be a real issue, and what happened, what we've seen, with some of the losses in some of the, even though we still retain the Congress, people talking about defunding the police and going far left. Democratic Party is going to path adjust on some of this far left stuff, and not go that far left and look to try to really hold their game. So they're going to re-anneal their game as they move forward. This could be very dangerous for the Republicans. Really, it could be very dangerous for them. And let me say this: your man Trump is not helping the situation. Not helping
Not at all.
He's not helping it.
Yeah, you may have gained more votes, but kind of like that article I sent you guys was kind of showing. Essentially, the Democratic Party is now, Silicon Valley, large portion of Black people, as well as some other minorities, and they even said, and Nagone, you may be able to speak to this. They even said Wall Street's solid Democratic territory now.
Of course, because Wall Street always goes towards the money. They sat back and looked at this COVID piece, and so these men going against science, and it's cost many Wall Street companies and the smaller companies that feed into the Wall Street game trillions of dollars. This has been a net loss.
Keep in mind, Biden is a Delaware guy. The credit card agencies love him. The credit card companies love him. So, we have to keep in mind that there's more at play than, it's just Democrats. It's people who are within the Democratic Party have significant pull. Black people in these battleground states have significant pull. If they don't come to the to the polls, then that becomes a problem for the left. But when it comes to the right, it works to their advantage. And so that's what happened to Hillary Clinton in 2016.
No. Black people came out and showed out this time around. Black people did. What they don't want to talk about is Black people did not come out for Hillary. Mm-hmm. They came out more in the Biden situation, and they even overcame many of now. They're Black people who voted Republican for some reasons that I can understand, but many were shine bones, and they overran the shine bone. So you shine bones out there got no place to go. You looking crazy. So you shine bones finish. But anyway, highly finish. But at the end of the day, you have to ultimately, like I say, like my old man taught me, and I followed him when I was on Wall Street, follow the money. Here, you after all this is said and done, you must follow the money. The money. And many people are out of work. Many businesses have closed. They haven't fed into the system properly. The system is being squeezed of cash. It's cash crunch. It's a problem. A lot of money's not coming back.
They're probably used to dealing with Trump too.
And that's the problem. You have to follow the money. You've got about 5 stocks running the freaking the stock market right now. Not 5 stocks. You know,
Next up.
two big ones, and the rest and the rest are techies, and that's about what you're dealing with. That's about what you're dealing with. It's a problem. So these guys are bucking up there and putting their money there, but this is not a sustainable game. Why do you think the market started to pump up when they started to see Biden was in there? And now this guy's holding back, creating all kind of problems, and creating a lot of issues. The market's starting to sputter a little bit. All right, my stocks have run pretty nice, but I think it's sputtering a little bit with this fucking monkey in here. It's trillions of dollars. This guy doesn't understand what he's getting ready to fuck with. What I'm telling you is this guy may catch you in the fucking head before he leaves. I'm telling you, this shit may go
All right, Mike. Mike, next article.
Yeah. So this one is from Yahoo News. Federal judge rejects Trump campaign's Pennsylvania lawsuit with prejudice, saying it lacks factual proof. So we discussed this earlier. A federal judge has dismissed the Trump campaign's Pennsylvania lawsuit attempting to overturn the 2020 election, issuing a stinging opinion that blasts the president's legal team for filing a disjointed lawsuit that lacked a compelling legal argument or factual proof to support it. And so in the manosphere, in the black manosphere, you had a lot of black men who were saying, there's fraud, throw him out, he's a bum, this is rigged, right? And when we asked these guys, where was the fraud coming from? You have to be blind not to see it. I can't see it. The judge can't see it. We can't see it. You got to point out where it is. Just look. It's there, right? Judge says this is being tossed out. Lack of factual proof to support it. This is the judge saying this. So are you saying that the judge is also, implicated in all of this?
Oh, deep state judges. Oh, sure.
Oh, they were appointed by Soros. You see all this dumb shit these dumbasses are talking. You can't prove any of it. You have a legal system that you have to come. Remember, there's a crucible of truth. The crucible that you have to prove your truth in. This is where these systems exist. That's why there are processes that you have to go through. Now you have to prove what you're talking about.
Okay, let me explain the process.
I can say all kinds.
Explain the process. Okay. At the height of the hysteria, you can actually go down there and file a lawsuit. You can. But filing a lawsuit doesn't mean anything. Is when it comes down to the court case, you can't provide any proofs and factual information. This is why I say they should have been held in contempt of court. Because this was a specific plan to discredit the election, not a plan to get votes counted.
MOT, this is the key piece you got to lay out there. When you get in this courtroom, and now you want to talk about, let me provide the evidence, you're under oath.
Yes, you are.
You are now under oath. What does that mean? You put your hand on the Bible. You put, or if you're a Muslim, you put your hand on the Quran, or you put your hand on the Torah, however they lay it out. You put your hand on that shit. You sit down and now say, okay, I'm now under oath. Okay, if I lie, or I'm proving to be lying here, okay, I can get hit for perjury. I will lose my legal license. I can go to jail. Now the game is quite a bit more serious. Now you can't come out here talking out the sides of your ass. Now when they tell you, you now have to prove your case, and buddy, you better not come in here lying. You lie, you die. Technically, that's what happens.
Remember when that lady, Laura Ingraham from Fox News, tried to have this anonymous interview with a guy who apparently the guy who witnessed some voter fraud? Like, come on, like that's what it was. It was smoke and mirrors, and she got clowned for it. But at the end of the day, dude, none of this stuff exists. They're taking okay, those people wouldn't have life if the audience didn't give them life. They wanted to tune in to believe a lie. That's what happened. You wanted to tune into somebody who you wanted to pay to lie to you about stuff that's inside your head that you can't prove. That's what you did. Okay?
That's why you had Giuliani up in there looking like a fucking jack-o'-lantern or a jack-in-the-box, a mutant jack-in-the-box, with fucking snake oil dripping from the top of his fucking from his Cro-Magnon dome piece, and sweating, looking, stambling, looking crazy. And then when they put his ass under oath, he could not. He refused to say anything about voter fraud.
Yeah, they're like
He
1
said
for
that
30.
this wasn't about voter fraud.
Wasn't about voter fraud.
Yeah,
And then
I
he
think
backed
they're
away from it. And all these top firms that they had backed away. They jumped out of it. They were like, we are losing our reputation underneath this. We gotta go.
and they're not going, and they're worried about not getting paid too.
You know, but Giuliani up in there, 20 G's a day, 20 G's a day. Snake oil dripping from the top of his fucking mutant ass fucking Cro-Magnon dome, looking crazy, but out there for 20 G's a day, $400K a month. All right, that's what he out there doing. That's what and I believe soon that will end as well, because he's in quarantine. He got quarantined. His boy got fucking COVID. Trump's son got COVID. The White House is a COVID event. They were COVID spreader. That's why all this COVID is running around the country. That 4 days later, after the fourth, COVID will be over. No, nigga, your spreader events have been bombs for the United States. They went off like bombs around the country. And now you have actually sat here and have bought in the second wave. These guys are evil, man. These motherfuckers are like a plague of locusts, man.
No, I was going to quickly add, Nick, on.
This is Beelzebub, man.
I think overall, I think Trump is like 1 for 32 in all these lawsuits.
Yeah.
But don't worry about it. Tons of evidence, tons of proof.
Evidence will be forthcoming. I was talking to a brother that who we're close with. Yeah, did you hear about, man? The servers getting taught, the servers getting taken, and special forces guys coming in here. Prove this under a court of law. Disappeared like a mummy hitting the air for the first time 5,000 years. Poof, fucking dust. So nothing there. But people are believing this dog shit. Put them underneath the oath. Where your ass is truly on the line for what you say.
Like Nagano, listen.
Anyway,
you got attorneys in this space not even explaining to you how this stuff works.
And they sit exactly correct, because why they have a vested interest in you being ignorant. Fuck that, we ain't playing that here. We're gonna let you know how to.
Yeah, you even got people. You even got people who because these people really aren't interested in anything factual. You got people laying up in the hospital on the ventilator, dying of COVID, saying they don't think COVID exists. Like some of these people just don't want to be reasoned with.
South Dakota, there was a nurse who did an interview, said that these people was dying on the deathbed, saying that they don't have COVID-19, and they almost up out of here. Still not admitting that they have COVID-19. It's crazy.
Yeah, let me read this one statement here. It says, U.S. District Court Judge Matthew Brand wrote that he would not disenfranchise almost 7 million voters as the Trump campaign had sought. Who's really involved in the suppression and the irregularities and the fraud?
Well, they did stop the steal, Mike. They stopped the steal by counting the votes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's how they stopped the steal. They counted the votes. Mm-hmm. They stopped the steal. That's what they did. They sat back and they made an effort to count all the provisional ballots and everything. I don't think they've ever went out of their way to do that before in American history. All right.
Now, guess who set up to stop the steal? Who to stop the steal? That whole organization. Who set that up? You know who did? You know who did that? Roger Stone. Anyway, that came out of his camp. Anyway, go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, the indicator of victory, according to the blackmail supporters in the manosphere, they were saying, look at Trump's rallies, 20,000, 30,000 people showing up. Biden only has like
super 10, spreader 20. Events.
Super spreader.
Biden can't get enough people to come to his events. He's a bomb. Throw him out. He's going to lose. What happened? You had to have
Trump out landslide.
Yeah. disenfranchised almost 7 million voters as the Trump campaign had. And this is a judge that was elected by, if I remember correctly, this is a judge that was elected by, appointed by Trump.
Yep. Listen, you had the Secretary of State of Georgia. I'm a Trump supporter, but these are the numbers don't lie. These guys tried to run it. It didn't work. Okay, what happened was the Trump people came out and voted in public, and the Democrats were very smart by really stacking and banking those votes, man, by ballot, by mail-ins, and it was a brilliant strategy. David Plouffe and these guys working behind the scenes, and even Obama tore these ignorant ass bastards out the frame. Tore them out, hung them with their own rope.
Again, we are here to protect the integrity of the process by making sure people can cast their ballots. I don't care who you vote for, but at the end of the day, if you got people who are deliberately trying to make sure people's voices don't count and don't matter, that's a problem in a democracy. That's all I'm saying.
I just want to ask Renaissance Man. RM, yo, let me ask you.
Yeah, what's up?
Under what communities are these people now challenging the votes in?
Under what communities?
What communities are the Trump campaign?
Oh, it's all in the black community. You had in Detroit, you had the guy who was talking about certifying the election. One of the surrounding counties was like 95% white, and this white guy even called him out and said, "Listen, you all are saying you don't want to certify Wayne County and Detroit because of irregularities, but you don't mind certifying this surrounding county that's 95% white that has a higher rate of irregularities than Wayne County."
And he was out of Livonia County right next to it, the 95% white county, Livonia County in Detroit. Go ahead, fam. Finish up. Go
ahead. Yeah. And
ahead,
so,
Mike.
No. What I'm saying here is that disenfranchised almost 7 million voters. Trump is squabbling over 1,600 voters for him, but wants to disenfranchise 7 million. I mean, who's really involved in all the irregularities, voter fraud, and suppression? The people who are backing Trump in this space are never coming out and saying any of this.
Nope.
And for good reason. I mean, we obviously know why there's quite a few reasons as to why they're not coming out and saying anything. But what I'm saying here is that this is not fake news. This is coming from the U.S. District Court Judge, Matthew Braun. This is coming from all the most powerful places that you can get for for this case. And you got Giuliani's not even a real lawyer. I mean, he has a briefcase that has AC Doocy pieces in there, used for backgammon and shit like that, with dice in there and shit, shredded newspaper inside of his briefcase. I don't even know what's in there, man. It could be an iPad or something. But I'm saying all of these guys who hedged their bets bet on the wrong horse, man. You got a donkey instead of a fucking horse.
A fucking donkey. A donkey.
Now, I was going to say, I can't think of anyone who has fallen further in public life than Giuliani. Going back to where he was around 9/11 to now, you talk about just down the toilet.
Well, see, I'm a New Yorker. And let me tell you, before Giuliani, before 9/11, he was going out with the lowest approval numbers and some of the worst ratings that we've seen. He was going out exceedingly popular. He was extraordinarily divisive. He was hated. He had prostate cancer for a short period, and people were saying, yeah, he deserved to get that. Even Howard Stern was wishing fucking prostate.
So 9/11 basically bailed him out. It was just one of those let people rally around him.
His wife came out against him. His kids came out against him. They came out with a play, the vagina monocle, the vagina monologues. Some people may remember that. That was a play on Wall Street. It was basically kind of going in and quasi going in on this sucker lady as well. He's a part. And so So he went, the whole Amadou Diallo thing and all that was so terrible. I remember even when Diallo's mother came to New York, he wanted to have her stay with him over there at Gracie Mansion, and she said no, and she stayed with the with the black activist groups that put her up in a hotel and all. I mean, this guy was extremely divisive. Came in and said he brought crime down when crime was coming down long before he had even came in. And this was proven statistically and all that. This guy was a divisive guy. People disliked him immensely.
He was the first Republican y'all had in a long time too, right?
And he was a Republican. Yeah, I mean, he was. But black people did not like Dinkins because Dinkins didn't handle things right a certain way and was over there kissing too much whitey behind and wasn't up in there really taking care of the black community as such. And they went against him, and that was kind of a mistake because then you brought this jack-o'-lantern in and he came in here and went to war in your community, went to war against you.
Black people didn't vote for him like that. There was just more like, hey, we're not going to support Democrats.
Black people didn't support him. They didn't support Giuliani. They didn't come out and vote. That was the problem. And Giuliani's people, primarily from the white communities in the Italian districts and so forth, went very heavily for the man. And then he came in and went to war and declared war on your ass. And I was there. But then again, and this is while crime and these kind of things were coming down. Things were starting to turn around. And he came in and he tried to take claim for all of it, but was highly divisive in the city. And 9/11 came about, and that's what ultimately cleaned this bastard up. And things looked okay because of 9/11. 9/11 was a very difficult.
He became America's mayor.
A very difficult time, and they gave him a lot of credit because he ran around. He said, "This is what we got to do," and did whatever, and kind of ran around, handled his job. And people gave him a lot of credit for it. Fair enough. Okay, I'm not going to try to take that from him. But that's what cleaned him up in the 12th hour. Had we not had 9/11, this guy would have gone out ignominiously. Believe me. So and I was there, and I saw it. And I was working in the city. I was on Wall Street. I was banging. I saw this shit closely. I was balls deep in this motherfucker. So at the end of the day, that's what was going down. And
cautionary tale to go on. Just on people who, think, not voting and all that. That's what you can enable.
Well, see, voting has. You see, when I see Negroes, I was talking to a brother this the other day, and he told me, well, I'm talking all. They talk. See, I get very careful and nervous. Not nervous, excuse me, but I get very careful when I start talking politics here with these people because a lot of these guys here are not registered. They're not even voting. And this one brother came here and told me he wasn't a voter. He didn't vote. I went in on his ass and then I dropped the fraternity piece on him. I said, you call yourself an alpha? And yet, we've had people like MLK. We had people like Thurgood Marshall, damn, they got hung. We've had, Philip Randolph and all these people who are part of it. Adam Clayton Powell, all these people who paid heavy dues. Some got their heads blown smooth off behind this. And you're talking about, you're an alpha man and you don't vote. When I
got buried alive. Got buried alive for registered people to vote in Mississippi.
People were killed behind this, taken the fuck out, and here you are talking about you don't vote, and you dare wear our colors and talk to me in this manner. It was unbelievable because we talk about civil rights, voting, housing, education, and welfare. These are the welfare of the people. These are the fundamental precepts that our organization is based on. And these are the people that come out of it. You want to talk about the boule and all this. We are at the very helm of most critical activity that exists within African America. We are there at the helm of it. The helm. That's the reality. Can't be denied. All right. Frederick Douglass, honorary brother, came out after and was inducted in later. But I mean, this is where we were in this. This is not a game. You're asking, people died behind this. Many. It's not a game. But you got these Negroes out here talking this. A lot of these guys who sit here and argue with you are not registered.
Yeah,
they don't even.
Yeah, they're going, but here's what they wanted. They wanted somebody else to do all the work for them, and they not invest anything into the process.
That's exactly right.
That's what they wanted. They didn't want to be responsible. They didn't want to organize then or now.
That's exactly right.
Like most of these people are organizing behind Stop the Steal and voter fraud that didn't happen more than they are organizing any other time for any other reason. The only thing they are sophisticated trolls. Most of these dudes are sociopaths. They don't know how to form a conversation. They can only talk to you through trolling because they can't handle reality in the real world. It's crazy how
It's
simple this is.
it's insane. And this. Why do you think they spend so much time? Mike just told you. I said this before myself. I had mentioned this before because we had mentions on the brain trust. But Mike just sat here and told you for the newbies who are here, 1 million of you got 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 X from the rolls. Million, 7 million altogether. This is the game that. Why are they doing that? This is the Voting Rights Act, 65. Okay, they tried to gut this thing. You had you here. You're sitting up in here with this, basically with this. How would I say, Supreme Court? Basically, well, there's some changes to it, but still, tried to gut the Voting Rights Act. Tried to gut it. They gutted it. These people are coming after your very rights. These guys are coming after this shit. This is not a game you're playing with. It's not a game. People have died and died horribly to keep these rights going. And many of you niggas are sitting here talking shit and ain't even fucking registered.
Yep.
You've lost.
Right,
You've lost your card to talk to any one of us if you're unregistered. I don't want to hear from you. Anyway, go ahead.
Mike,
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
all right, Mike, your next article.
Hey, Mike, I was going to say, I dropped you one in the back chat.
MOT.
No, go ahead, Mike.
No, I was saying you only sent two.
No, yeah, Mike, I sent you one in the chat if you want to bring that one up. I don't know if you've seen this or not. I just thought it would be interesting with the whole discussion about people on the right and, what kind of organizing is going on out here.
All right. Just give me a second. Let me pull it up.
It's the one I sent you at after 9:33 p.m. The New York Times about the Michigan fiasco, and the other ones that was about the two Wisconsin thing that they're doing now.
Yeah, I got it.
All right, cool.
All right, this is from the New York Times. When Michigan Republicans refused to certify votes, it wasn't normal. I'll read the first paragraph.
Yeah.
President Trump's Freudian slip there. President Trump's campaign cheered them on, but hundreds of Michiganders logged on to a Zoom call to express their fury. And around 9 p.m., the Republicans reversed themselves, certifying the count. Voters in Michigan and beyond were left wondering what just happened. Could the results of a free election really be blocked that easily in such a routine part of the electoral process? In this case, the answer was no, but perhaps only because so many people said so. The election canvassing board in Wayne County, a largely Democratic area that includes Detroit, met to certify the results on November 3rd of the November 3rd election, and deadlock along party lines with the board's two Democrats voting to certify and its two Republicans voting not to. The Republican members, William Hartman and Monica Palmer, said they were concerned about small discrepancies between the number of votes cast in some precincts and the number of people precinct officials recorded as having voted. These sorts of inconsistencies can happen if, for instance, a voter checks in but then gets frustrated by a long line and leaves. they were nowhere near significant enough in Wayne County or anywhere else in Michigan to change the president-elect Joseph Biden Jr.'s victory. Mayor Mike Duggan of Detroit said they involved just 357 votes out of about 250,000 cast in the city, and canvassing boards routinely certify election results under similar circumstances. After intense backlash, both from election watchdogs and from voters whom Representatives Debbie Dingell and Rashida Tlaib organized to call in to the canvassing board's meeting, Mr. Hartman and Ms. Palmer voted to certify the results after all. While they demanded that Jocelyn Benson, the Michigan Secretary of State, conduct an audit of the Wayne County results that will not delay the certification process. By Wednesday morning, every county in Michigan has certified its results. The Board of State Canvassers will meet on November 23rd to certify the statewide totals. So it was people on the right again.
Yes.
Members on the right.
Yep.
So for all these people who kept saying there was some kind of voter fraud, something was there, some kind of irregularities, throwing all these terms out, irregularities, fraud, suppression, something, cheating, stealing, all this time, if they just read the reports, they knew it was coming from the right.
And nobody's saying anything about it.
Yeah. But we covered this 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Greg Palast basically said, hey, I did the investigation. I'm a former statistician, investigative journalist who looked into all of this. Million people in Georgia were purged from the board to vote.
They went from white sheets to spreadsheets, he said.
He sued the state in 2018 during the Abrams election, claiming that many of these ballots that were thrown out illegally, and got 67,000 put back on. Okay, Stacey Abrams, if she had all of the people that were basically eliminated, because the only way that they won the gubernatorial race there was through voter suppression. And then they still was supposed to have a counting done, but if the counting wasn't done by a certain time, then it was over. And they didn't get the count done in time, of course.
Yep.
That was and that's the current governor that is in there right now, who was the Secretary of State. And now this Secretary of State in here now is coming up underneath, and he's under unbelievable scrutiny. Now he's under incredible scrutiny. And these guys can't fuck the game over the way they would like. They are under a critical spotlight. They can't do what they can do. That's why Abrams and all of them are sitting out here right now, going ham, getting their people to send in their mail-in votes right now and pulling the vote out right now. And it's a real problem. That's why you got this jack-o'-lantern over there in South Carolina running over here talking about, stop the vote. Shit. It's no game out here, families. They want to suppress you for a reason. Anyway, go ahead, Mike.
Reza, you got anything else on this before we go to the last article?
I think he stepped away.
Okay. All right.
No, I'm good.
All right, cool. All right. Mike, you can go to the last and final article.
All right, this is from JS Online. What you need to know about President Trump's requested recount of 2 Wisconsin counties, Milwaukee and Dane.
I wonder why Milwaukee. What do they have in Milwaukee?
President Donald Trump is seeking a partial recount in Wisconsin following his narrow loss here to Democratic challenger Joe Biden in the November 3rd election. Trump lost the state by nearly 21,000 votes 2 weeks ago. Here's what you need to know about the recount. The campaign is focusing its recount efforts on liberal Milwaukee and Dane counties. His campaign announced Wednesday. The counties contain the state's largest cities of Milwaukee and Madison, respectively. State law allows such a county by county request. In Milwaukee County, Biden beat Trump 317,270 votes to 134,357, according to the final canvass. In Dane County, Biden beat Trump 260,185 to 78,800. A recount in Milwaukee County is estimated to cost about $2 million, while Dane County would cost about $740,000. State law allows losing candidates to demand a recount only if the margin is set 1% point or less. The state pays for the recount if the margin is less than 0.25 points. The losing candidate must pay for it if it is more than that.
That's very clear. That's very key. The point is, Donald Trump has not filled out the paperwork, nor has he paid the money. So he's trying to do it the other way through the actual judges and the court system. That's very key and very clear. He's not trying to waste money on the recount. He's just trying to sell the hysteria on the recount and fundraise off of it, which is what this whole thing is about as well, which is actually what's happening on YouTube. You know, they got a hold of the fuckery fundraising. And this is what the kind of thing that we're on right now. But like it says there, the state does pay for it. But if you are below a certain amount, you have to pay for it. And he got the money because he's getting money being donated to him right now. And he said that he was going to spend the money on that specific thing. But turns out he's just using that money to pay off all this other campaign debts. It's crazy.
What I also found, I'll say this very quickly, what I also found was I kind of a little bit surprised about. That was some of this fundraising that you can do. Some of these monies can also go to pay personal expenses.
Yeah, so
I think you got to caveat it, because that was the thing they pointed out when people were donating. They were like, hey, basically half of this goes to pay off these legal fees and half goes to pay off campaign debts.
Yeah. No, they didn't care, man. You know, they're reprogrammable meat bags. You know, they just what's the slop coming down the trough today? That's them. They're not paying that much attention.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So no, it's just at the end of this process. It's actually quite the opposite. And a lot of people are saying that, oh my God, no. The process is very specific. If you understood the process, you wouldn't be gaslit by people who actually are trying to feed you a load of garbage. Remember, there's two failures here, both on the person. The first failure on the person is not knowing the process, which is fine. The second part of the process is tuning in to abject hustlers, frauds, and shines on how the stuff is going to work in your favor when you know it's not going to work in your favor. At the end of the day, both of those things is how these people fail. Like, this process didn't just come up overnight. This is how this stuff always has been. So it's like this. The people who are tuning into that stuff, they want to find a way to discredit the election. So that way they don't have to worry about Mitch McConnell and all his blocking of appointees and judges and all this other stuff. What they're trying to do is they're trying to build their Benghazi out of this by making it look like, oh, it's so much voter fraud. Yeah, so much that you can't prove it in court. Only thing you can do is assert it. So that's just where we're at, folks. And this dude isn't even trying to hand over power properly and correctly because it's how he got it. He got it in a fashion that wasn't respectful. So he's definitely going to try to hold on to it for as long as he possibly can. And this isn't something that we should be even arguing about at this point. But if you don't believe in democracy at all and you want your candidate to win by any means necessary, that's the only way that you're going to be able to get this stuff to work in your favor. So that's just where we're at, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And you have people in the manosphere who are getting super chats off of this. They're also
Oh yeah,
grift, yeah, they're also grift hustling as well.
yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. Griff hustling all day long. But see, when they hear live streams like this, they get tight because they let you know this is some bullshit. We're calling out the bullshit. And right now, it's having a hard time standing on its own because look at how they're crushing these cases literally on TV that's coming up like roaches. And then I saw one cat tell me, hey, I'm not seeing this on the media. They're keeping this quiet in the media. I said, what media are you looking at? You got brothers out here operating real strange right now, man. Real strange. I know there's a certain level of cognitive dissonance and there's some things going on. I understand some of the issues, but you got to take your head out of the sand, man. You got to look at what's really going on, and follow the money on all of this. Follow the money. What's going on with Trump and what these guys are doing. Follow the money. But this is about money.
Fox and Friends told Trump that he needed to grow up this morning. Grow up and accept the loss. Take the L. That's Fox and Friends. Tucker Carlson tried to invite on one of these people who said that they were voter fraud. She didn't show up because she couldn't provide any proof of what she was talking about.
And I'm going to say this. So you're making a great point right there. You see, quiet as kept. Some of these people know what's coming down if this guy don't leave. Some of these people know what's getting ready to go down. This shit's going DEFCON 5. And let me tell you something. You're looking at old Sleepy Joe. See, Sleepy Joe he was in the White House for 2 terms. He's been in Congress or in the Senate for damn near 50 years. He knows what time it is. All right. When it comes time for him to take power, he gonna take it.
It's just that this stuff is being taken to a level because the dude don't respect the process.
He doesn't.
And that's who they left in charge was a person who did not respect the process. That's where we're at right now.
And costing taxpayers money because the Biden-Harris administration is now asking for donations to self-fund the transition because the GSA will not release the money that is allocated to do this. So taxpayers are essentially getting charged twice for this.
Let me tell you, this is a real problem. See, they're going to slowly start to escalate this thing. This is a problem. Like I'm saying, we got to get back to the brass tacks here one more again. We have not seen a president, and there's nothing that says so much in the Constitution as if a man refuses to leave. What are you going to do? What exactly are you going to do if this guy doesn't leave and he's trying to allay other forces? See, this is what we're getting back to. All right, we can get into all the stuff is going to become basically academic. Now, where are we going to go when we cross that Rubicon? When we have to look at this guy's not going to leave and he's trying to put together forces to stay in there, and now he's not going to leave, and he's still claiming that he is president. What are you going to do then? Do you negotiate him out of there?
No.
Or do you fucking blow him away?
No.
No. I'm throwing all this up. I'm not saying this is what we're going to do, but what do you do under these conditions? Okay,
January 20th, you send the Secret Service or the military in there. It's time to go.
Yeah.
I've looked at many coups, Allende and all that. I looked at the coup that almost took place for Chavez over there in Venezuela before. I saw what happened I saw what happened no Brasil. Saw what happened there. I've seen many coups throughout my day. Many studied them in school and literally was preached to the rights with respect to history on this. I've seen this. Here we are here in the United States. I would have never thought I would have seen this. For over the 50 years I've been watching politics. From the time I was a fucking stereo till today, watching the fucking watching Nixon get inaugurated. You're loving that as a kid. I'm watching this now. So 50 years. I haven't seen this.
Yeah.
Different game. Different game we're getting ready to play here. I just want to put that out. We are crossing through a door we haven't crossed through. Okay, not in this 20th century.
On purpose.
Not in the 20th, 21st century. I haven't seen this. I've seen this before. This is where we're at. So I'm just saying, you know, keep your eyes open, people. This is very significant stuff. Very significant. This guy has supposedly over 70 million supporters. How many of them are ready to go to the streets as well if he decides to call on that? You have to take a look at what we're looking at. This is not a game. I'm just keeping it.
We've already seen that today.
I'm keeping it above.
Did we see that today, Mike? With that Stop the Steal and like, what was that, Atlanta today?
Yeah.
Those people were there?
Yeah.
I mean, it's for real. And
It was
I'm telling
DC
people,
last weekend.
Yeah, I'm telling people, and I'm telling people, and I'm telling people. Be mindful of your surroundings. If you know you're in one of these rural ass areas, and one of these strongholds, just be sure that you be mindful of your surroundings. Because I don't think these people are going to go quiet. I just don't think that's the case.
Yeah, I think they caught I think some didn't they recently bust some guys who were trying to like ship some guns across state lines out of like Virginia, targeting BLM people?
No, they showed up in Pennsylvania.
Yeah. No, I mean, they were given a warning. They didn't shut them down. They were given a warning that those people were going to show up in Pennsylvania. So yeah, they did actually show up.
And let me tell you, I was just looking at some footage, when the Proud Boys had their million Maggles march, and they stabbed a couple of people and nobody did anything.
Yeah,
then I saw a couple of brothers laid a few of these cats out, and I just recently saw an article one of my friends sent me where the head of the Proud Boys stated that they don't want to pretend anymore that they're neo-Nazis. They claim they call that, and there's supposed to be Spanish guy, whoever was sitting up in there, and some other brothers who were trying to get up in there, kind of ran the fuck out of there. Ran out, under the threat they don't leave. You gonna leave. Depending on how you want to leave. So that's the game these guys are playing now. So you got to understand. Stand back, stand ready. Yeah, well, that's what this guy was calling on.
No,
took out the defense secretary. Took out the head of cybersecurity. Did that. All right, and is in a bunker that he is refusing. He is not going home to Mar-a-Lago for Thanksgiving. Staying there, staying in the White House. Built a small wall around the place. Gentlemen, I'm telling you, we have not seen this before. We haven't seen it. All this other stuff is purely academic. He knows he's not going to win this.
Yeah, the thing is, the Proud Boys, Oath Keepers, Wolverine Watchmen, those are the brown shirts.
That's exactly correct. That's exactly
shirts. These guys were literally going to kidnap the governor and the lieutenant governor, a brother.
And kill them. Put them on trial and kill them. Put them on trial. They were going to have a mock trial and then execute. These are the Al-Qaedists. This is this is your Al-Qaeda. This is your Al-Qaeda here, right now. You know what I'm saying? Your ISILs and all of this. This is what you got going on right here, right now. Okay, Frontline. I don't know if you guys watch Frontline.org on the PBS. Just came out with a documentary on the neo-Nazis.
Yep, I saw that one.
Or
whatever they're called.
The Atomwaffen, mein Freund. Atomwaffen. Now they have a Fascistase. What is this? Look, man, this is not a game, and they put that on for a reason. All right.
And it's not going to subside once this election process is over. Stuff is going to carry on throughout this whole 4 years because remember, they're trying to build their new Benghazi. The new Benghazi that they're going to fearmonger off of is to stop the steal nonsense.
Yeah, but these guys are looking to fucking ultimately overturn this government. And at the end of the day, these guys are looking to keep this in power, and they're looking to come in with a whole new game plan. They're looking, and guys like Bannon and them are down with it. All right, you got to understand what's going on here. We have not seen this before. The question still asked, and I ask anybody here in the chat, this man does not leave. I have to say, does not leave after 90 and decides he's going to hunker in. What do you do?
Nothing.
That's where
You
we
just
are.
run the government without the White House. Leave his ass there
Well,
and quietly
well,
fumigate the place.
well, with active people who I think are going to start to take certain actions to the streets.
Well, the other thing to go on is, I don't know if you heard about, they had several CEOs of some major companies that had a call last week. I think a Yale professor sort of spearheaded it. And they were like, okay, like they expressed concerns behind closed doors, but you had one, the founder of BlackRock, who was a Trump supporter, basically talking people off the ledge. Hey, he has the right to do all this. They basically said, hey, we're gonna have another meeting when the deadline to certify the elections happen, and they're like, if this drags out, we're gonna look at pulling jobs out of states, or moving company headquarters out of some of these states, or ending political campaign donations to some of these Republicans to really make them step up and be like, hey, we've done the count, you lost, it's time to get out of here, man.
But what happens when some of these very wealthy corporate entities start, some of them who are down with this, start to fund hundreds of millions of dollars to these operations? What happens?
It depends. Yeah, it depends on how many are down. I know traditionally, like, when you start talking about these progressive things, things like at Coca-Cola in Atlanta, them threatening to move their headquarters back in the day, made some big changes in some of these cities. It would be interesting what corporations would get behind Trump, because he's throwing them under the bus as well too.
Yeah. And before we get up out of here, Kyle Rittenhouse, that guy, posted $2 million bail today. So if you think these people won't pay to have people to gaslight and do idiotic stuff, you're wrong.
They paid $4 million for this yo-yo in South Carolina.
That they did.
$4 million. They raised $1 million for George Zimmerman.
You guys don't understand. These guys have money.
My Pillow CEO Mike Lindell helped pay for suspected Kenosha shooter Kyle Rittenhouse actual release. I'm telling you,
2 million. So he had to come up with 10% of that.
Yeah.
So that's 200 grand.
Yeah. So so this is what I'm saying, man. So when these people went conservative, this is who they want to team up with to help black men out and black people out. So they were so mad at black women that they decided to team up with these people right here, rather than work with the people that's already here. So that's all I got, man. Any last words, Renaissance man?
Yeah, no, that sums it up. Like I said, there's plenty of established black people who are trying to do things. That's what I was really trying to hit on with that article that I sent you, Mike, that you got established people out here trying to put a pact together. This is what a serious political action committee looks like. And a lot of these guys in the space don't get it.
No, they don't want to get it, because they're here to fuckery fundraise off the ignorance of the entire process. I mean, it's one actually grows the other. Now you see that they wanted to keep this stuff the same. It's not that the women are running things. It's that the dudes who want the women to run things so that way they can have power in the actual process. That's what's actually going on here. So, yep. So you got anything, Nagone? Got anything else before we get up out of here?
No. Just good breakdown. People have to really start thinking about what this game is about out here. You want to talk about black guys and conservatives and all that. They didn't want Michael Steele in the game. They wanted to kick him out. We talked about that, and some other true black conservatives who were really about black men well, and they don't want to have nothing to do with you. And then take a look at what's going on now and who's getting bailed out. Stuff is going on. Pretty scary stuff. This is what you're witnessing is history being made, coming off fresh off the print right now, fresh off the block right now. It's being printed right now. You are witnessing brand new chapter in history that we haven't seen. You're watching it. How is this going to roll out? It's going to be very interesting to watch, and some of the implications of this might become quite terrifying.
Yeah, definitely eroding the norms. That's the main thing. Once you go there, you open Pandora's box. It just becomes a little bit easier for the next strong man to do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna ask you, Nagone, you still there?
Yeah.
You got any thoughts on so you think he's gonna have to pretty much be dragged out or gonna really push this thing, or you think people are gonna step up and really just say, hey, it's time to go?
I think his brain is affected. I think this guy has got tremendous delusions. This guy doesn't want to lose. I think this guy's gonna fight it out.
Okay. Now, do you think they're gonna be able to you get him out of there? I've already heard, this rumbling of Biden taking this, I guess Gerald Ford stance on Richard Nixon of, hey, the country needs to move forward. We're not going to charge anyone, this and that. There's that rumor floating. There's also just, the rumor kind of floating that, the DOJ and, the FBI and all those entities that have kind of been hamstrung and Trump has kind of used as personal agencies, those will go back to having some level of independence, and you let them make that decision.
See, I'm not counting on the institutions. I'm thinking these guys are going to knuckle under who feels is going to wield the most power, and this guy's trying to get that going. I'm going to the old power game here. This guy's trying to coup this joint. He's going to try to get his forces in line and do what he can. So that's where I think we're going. That's where I think we're going.
Okay, so you don't think? I guess I meant like more if they get him out of there. Do you think Biden will actually have, and Democrats will have enough clout to try to really go after this guy?
Well, if they get him out of there, I mean the Democrats are gonna have all the power. That means they're gonna hit him from the hardcore power principle.
Hold on a second.
I don't know if you're following what I'm saying. Democrats get him out of there the way they need to get him out of there. Biden's an old time Irish boy. All right, he's an old time Irish, talking, doing all that, smiling, old Danny boy kind of thing. But at the end of the day, he's going to come in there with the get. So that's how this thing is. That's how this thing's going to go down. Okay, Obama. Remember, he's a made man. Obama's killed many people. Okay, that's what you're fucking with right now. These cats.
Hold on a second.
Yeah.
Breaking news. I want to show this on the screen.
What, they throwing out another one of his lawsuits or something?
No, even worse than that.
What's this?
Shirley Huzar as a keynote speaker at activists gather to stop the steal in fucking Georgia.
She's not one. She's one of these Republican YouTubers,
yes,
right?
She is. Yes, she is.
She's out there with Stop the Steal.
Yeah, she said she was a keynote speaker today at the rally that me and Mike was actually watching. I keep telling you guys about these black fucking conservatives, man.
These guys don't believe in. They don't really believe in democracy. They don't believe in the process, and they're out here to tear you out. Like I said, you have to understand, this thing is going to get live. I'm sorry to say it, but I do not think this guy is going. Regardless of what's going on, Stop the Steal is a scam. All this shit's a scam, but these people out here behind it. Now you have to understand, he's just not out here by himself. He's going to be moving with his adherents in the Republican Party and others. That he's got a structure underneath him. Okay, this is about who's got the power right now. This somebody's got his hands. He still got his hands on the codes.
Yeah, and he's playing the dangerous game of chicken that he really don't have to stop playing.
See, a lot of guys are saying he's playing chicken. I don't believe he's playing chicken. I don't believe this is the chicken. I don't believe these guys are playing chicken right now. I don't think so.
The crazy thing too is when you talk about the Black Republicans, I'm just like, how do you feel comfortable to be in an organization or a group of people who are just a cult of personality, have no adherence to anything that's about rights, and the second this person's already attacking your community for voting, and it's like all you have to do is say one thing, get on the wrong side, and that same energy will be turned on you.
Yeah,
it's crazy. I'm just like, you're in enemy territory, and I don't know if you don't realize it, or you just not really paying attention to it, or just think you above it all.
Renaissance man, do you remember when Gorbachev was sitting up there in office and they were firing on the Kremlin and all that went on, and then you saw literally the beginning of the fall of the Soviet Empire, and when Yeltsin had to call it back, and then he got the power, and then ultimately Gorbachev ultimately resigned and stepped off, and but did you see what happened? Did you see how that whole process went? We couldn't have believed we would have seen that. We didn't think so. But then, but we saw that. Coming towards the end of the 20th century, we saw it. They were those who somewhat predicted it. Even Tom Clancy, in some ways, did it as well. But folks began to see some of this. We've seen supposedly the destruction of the United States and so forth. And we were looking for somebody to come in office and play this type of game. And this game is coming down. How are we going to handle this is a different story.
That historian I was telling you about that called those meetings with CEOs, he did it for a reason. He was very alarmist and saying, you're witnessing a coup. And I'm not, that's what he said. He's a historian on all this stuff.
We knew that. That's why I was aware of that meeting. And I'm looking at what kind of money will be funneled from certain types of corporate entities undercover to these people.
People would bail out Kyle Rittenhouse. Very dangerous ass situations.
And they will have hundreds of millions to billions of dollars to play with. This is not
people donated for a border wall that didn't even exist.
And guys like Bannon took money. Bannon's like, these guys are wrong. Come on here and cut their heads off. These guys are talking crazy shit.
Yep, that's what got it. That's what may do him in is that whole border wall funding, taking that money and spending it. On some other expenditures.
They waited for him to grab that money, and as soon as they saw that money hit his accounts, because he had a bunch of dummy companies that they tried to wash it through and then put in his accounts, which came in there, they nailed him.
When got him off the yacht,
right up here, not too far off of one of the houses I have up here in Connecticut. Right off the sound there. So they nailed him, and they got him. And he was in jail for a little bit. He did the perp walk. He bailed out, and now he's looking. This guy's. These guys are ready for Freddie. These guys are prepared to go all the way. You have no idea what you're dealing with.
Oh yeah, they know. They know prison's waiting on them. So you got guys who.
No, I'm not saying that. You have no idea what you're dealing with. You have no idea what the type of people you're dealing with. Obama and them know. They know.
Oh yeah, no, I get it. I'm just saying when you talk about Trump, you take that and you add the fact that he's desperate. Giuliani and these guys know they got blood on their hands. They're desperate, and it's just like.
And it's not just him; it's who's supporting him as well. The guys you don't see. That's what you got to look at in this kind of thing.
Man, she's sitting there talking in front of a whole bunch of whites. There's not a single another black person in sight.
Yeah, that's the thing, MOT. With all the support in the manosphere, I should see some black men out at some of these Stop the Steal rallies. I'm yet to see them.
Shirley Huzar. Hey, when were you guys looking at this thing, MOT?
Now she's live right now talking about it on her stream. Mike sent me the link. I thought she was one of the reasonable ones, but she was there at the one of these Stop the Steal rallies in Georgia. Like she do recognize that by hand counting the vote, black people's votes for the most part. It's the reason why Biden won that state. So if she's
And
there
they're out
with
here,
stop
listen,
the steal, they're gone. If
go
they're
ahead.
there with the stop the steal shit, she's actually for suppressing black people.
Well, suppressing, that's it. Exactly. They're there to suppress your votes. These are your own people who are supporting your suppression. I mean, this is where we're at with these shine bones. They're not understanding where they are with these grays. But this is where they are with these shine bones. There's gonna come I'm sorry to say it, but we're through the looking glass here, people. And the reality very simply is we're gonna have to take some harsh stances.
Yeah.
And
Like like from now on, these you have to declare what side you're on within this space. There is no such thing as I'm a fucking independent. You're an independent who caucuses with who to get your agenda out. There is no, oh, I think the whole system's corrupt. Get the fuck out of this conversation. Until you want to declare a side and want to work from that side, I don't want to talk to none of these motherfuckers about nothing. Because the only thing they do, they're just in the goddamn way. So, does anybody else got anything else before we get up out of here?
I'll say this very quickly. I hope I'm wrong, but January 2020, I don't believe this guy's going to be giving it up. I hope I'm wrong. I'll just leave it at that.
All right. Renaissance man, you got anything else?
I'm good. I'll catch up with you guys later.
All right.
Cool.
All right. I'm gonna hit you up later. I'm gonna hit you up.
All right. Yeah.
Okay.
So the last thing was if this guy doesn't decide to go, you guys have to recognize that this stuff is serious business. We've elected a con man to an office that he didn't respect. And now he probably doesn't want to leave, or he wants to get the maximum bang or buck out of it before he leaves. Not really handling the COVID-19 thing properly. Even after he lost the election, he still's not trying to handle it properly. But it's ridiculous at this point. So we got to be able to keep holding these people's feet to the fire, man, because ain't nobody about to lay this bullshit down and keep going on within this space. See, you got to catch them at the recess point. So that way when they start trying to change into something else, you can be able to catch them. So that's all I got. Thank you guys so much for coming through. Share and comment on the stream. You guys have a really nice night. Be safe out there.